Hello again. This is Reverend Rick Willie from spiritualdiscussions.com, a Pathways of Light minister. So today I would like to talk about my experience again, because that's all I know, and how it relates to Lesson 34. So what I would like to do today is just read Lesson 34 and then share with you an experience I had this morning. So you might hear a little bit of beeps and stuff as I work with my phone here to get up that lesson. Bear with me for just a moment. Or maybe not. Hang on. Lesson 34. It says, I could see peace instead of this. The idea for today begins to describe the conditions that prevail in the other way of seeing. Peace of mind is clearly an internal matter, which I discovered. It must begin with your own thoughts and then extend outward. It is from your peace of mind that a peaceful perception of the world arises. 3 longer practice periods are required for today's exercises. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening are advised, with an additional one to be undertaken at any time in between, which seems most conducive to readiness. All applications should be done with your eyes closed. It is in your inner world to which the applications of today's idea should be made. Some 5 minutes of mind searching are required for each of the longer practice periods. Search your mind for fear thoughts, anxiety-provoking situations, offending personalities or events, or anything else about which you are harboring unloving thoughts. Note them all casually, repeating the idea for today slowly as you watch them arise in your mind, and let each one go to be replaced by the next. If you begin to experience difficulty in thinking of specific subjects, continue to repeat the idea to yourself in an unhurried manner, without applying it to anything in particular. Be sure, however, to not make any specific exclusions. The shorter applications are to be frequent and made whenever you feel your peace of mind is threatened in any way. The purpose is to protect yourself from the temptation throughout the day. If a specific form of temptation arises in your awareness, the exercise should take this form. I could see peace in this situation instead of what I see in it now. If the inroads on your peace of mind take the form of more generalized adverse emotions such as depression, anxiety, worry, use the idea in its original form. I could see peace instead of this. If you find you need more than one application of today's idea to help you change your mind in any specific context, try to take several minutes and devote them to repeating the idea until you find some sense of relief. It will help you if you tell yourself specifically, I can replace my feelings of depression, anxiety, or worry, or thoughts about this situation, personality, or event with peace. So my experience of that this morning, I woke up, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I just felt angry. And I noticed it immediately. As soon as I woke up, it's like this anger was present. I'm like, what is this? So I just kind of ignored it for a couple of minutes and got up and, tried to get ready for work. And it just kind of persisted. It's like, I just told myself, no, I'm not going to go through my day angry. I want peace, and peace is going to be my way of life. I'm not having it. And it grew. So I just kept persisting more and more. And the more I persisted and fighting against, I don't want to be angry. I don't want this. Go away. Leave me alone. I want peace. And I noticed I started struggling with this anger feeling that it just didn't want it to be there. And the more I fought against it, the more it grew. So by the time I got dressed, got ready for work, got in my car, got my gas, whatever, and for me it's a half-hour drive to get to work. Well, by the time I got there, I was almost in a full-blown panic attack. I mean, I was just ready to fly apart. My body felt frantic. I was frantic. And it's like, what is this? What's going on? And I just couldn't get a grip on it. And I knew I had no reason. I just woke up that way. I tried to ask myself, why? What is this anger about? What am I angry at? What am I, what's the foundation for it? What's the purpose for it? Why is it here? And I try to search my mind and try to find a reason to be angry, and I couldn't find any reason to be angry, and yet anger was here, saying hello. And I thought I was going to go nuts. And it's, the more I drove, and I just cried out, kind of internally. It's like, God, help me see this. Right? Why is this here? And not almost immediately after I said that, which is going to sound a little strange, but it's just the way it happened. As soon as I did that, I heard a very small voice amidst all the storm that was in my mind saying, you've been training for this. Now, do it. Be still. Like, okay, I'm driving right now. I can't be still. I can't close my eyes and, it's like, okay, so, all right, fine. I'll deal with the anger until I can safely get stopped, and I'll just get quiet. So I got to work, parked my car, threw my head on the windshield, and just closed my eyes and took a deep breath. And began to tell myself, I'm angry and I don't want to be angry. And I sat there and I just let that feeling be there just to get a sense of what that felt like. And it's like, oh, okay, well, let's try this. I am angry. And I just sat there and just let that feeling be there, right? Instead of fighting against it, just try to get a sense of it. Because, okay, I'll explain at the end. So I did a 3-step process. I am angry and I don't want to be angry. And just try to get the feeling of being angry and not wanting that, right? And how those, just to get a feeling of the conflict between the two things that I wanted, right? Okay, so let's just see what it feels like if I just say I'm angry. Okay, so I just sat there. I'm angry. And I just got a feeling of removing the I don't want this feeling and just being with the anger, right? Just take that off the table. Mentally, I just took the I don't want this off the table. And it felt better. I'm like, okay, so let's take away the angry, right? Let's wipe that off the table. I am. And I just tried to get a feeling, right? Just a sense of I am. just my own presence, without the anger, without the I'm angry and I don't want this, right? So I'm just kind of erasing slowly to try to get a sense of the difference in those three feelings. And as soon as I got this I am, and I kind of felt that presence within me, as I heard myself say, there you are, right? There you are. And I sat there with it for just a second. I mean, this whole process is taking longer to explain than what it actually took. It only took me about a minute to get this done, which was really amazing. So A Course in Miracles and the mind training does work once you understand that what you tell yourself, like I've been talking about, is going to be your experience. And that was such a confirmation for me. It's beautiful. It's like, oh, because what I saw through that process was that anything I add to I am, I'm going to experience immediately, like I've been talking. But it's so much easier to talk about it, right, than to actually see that, yeah, that's it. You know, you get that aha moment when you can prove it to yourself. And man, that feels good. So I just wanted to quickly put this out and ask you, prove this to yourself. You know, it's not about a belief. It's not about, I'm talking about source or God. Excuse me. You know, and we always think that it's something other than what it is. Well, I am, right? And who is the source? Well, I am is my source. And who is that? Me. Right? Now, I'm not saying, you know, yes, I'm the ego. That's also present, right? It's a part of me, but it's an aspect. It's an addition, right? The ego is an addition to I am. And I'm just saying that because I'm starting to understand that through my experience and through proving it to myself. I'm just here. And anything that goes on in my mind is an addition to what's already here, which is what all the spiritual teachers are talking about. And I'm like, oh, this is it. Which I've also heard them say. And I find myself saying these things, and man, I'm getting excited because I can have peace. It's here for me always. All I have to do is teach myself how to tap into it. And it's so simple. But because we're so used to living in the mind, right, and living in the thought process, that we don't turn our attention away from thought to just our own presence, our own source of where that thought comes from. So the process that I did was to trace it back, right? Probably consciously or unconsciously, and a little of both, really, but it just worked so well. And I just want to put that out there for you guys, you know, to invite you to just try that when you're experiencing something, anything, right? Any anger, attack thought, any discomfort that you're feeling. And instead of fighting against it, saying, I don't want this, like I did, right? And fighting with that feeling, just sit down and get quiet and tell yourself, I am feeling this, because we're telling ourselves the truth, right? That's all I did. I told myself the truth. I'm angry and I don't want this. What does that feel like? And I let it, I got curious. What does that feel like to I am angry and I don't want this? Right? Because that's two ideas being held in mind. It can only create conflict. And that's what I felt. Right? And it's like, oh, okay, that's what that feels like. All right, let's take part of this off. If I just say this, I am angry. And then it was like, oh, I'm angry. That's okay, I'm angry. And I just let the anger kind of be there. I didn't push it. I just looked at it with my attention. Right? I just put my attention on what it feels like to be angry. And then I took that off the table and said, what does it feel like to be to just say, I am. What does that feel like? And again, I just sat there. What does it feel like? I am. Without adding anything to it. What does that feel like? And I just sat there and kind of let my mind wiggle around inside my body, or wherever it kind of wanted to go, just to try to get that feeling of presence of I am, my own presence of who I am, without adding a story to it, such as I am angry, or I am angry and I don't want this. And as difficult as that might sound, because 6 months ago, a year ago, yesterday, who knows, man? I didn't get that. It's like, what? Okay, that sounds like a great idea, right? But if we get so caught up in the story, it's hard to learn to move our attention away from the thought, right? But this is the process, right? Once I started really focusing on this is what I want, and started listening to other teachers and A Course in Miracles and what the principles were, and the possibility that, well, wait a minute, that guy has peace all day, every day. That guy has peace all day, every day. This person experiences it. So if they can have it, obviously, I got to just try to figure out what they did to get it. And I just kept looking out there, right, to try to get that, what's out there in here. And the more I started understanding what they were saying, it's like, okay, let me experiment with this. And there is, I'll put in a comment again, of a meditation where I actually got this little exercise. I'll be honest, it didn't really come from A Course in Miracles, but who cares where it comes from, right? If you can find something that works for you, that's going to help you have a tool to experience your own inner peace and your own presence that's always here, never leaves you, right? Someone always walks with you, right? What they're talking about is your own presence. It's just amazing. And we think that it's something else. We attribute it to God, right? And I'm not saying that that's not true, right? Don't hear that. Because God is here. He would have to be, or I wouldn't exist, right? God created me as I am, right? It's me that's creating all the addition. This is what we have to figure out. How do I do that? By adding a story, right? And the story can be anything we want, and we'll experience it. And I just keep coming back to that realization, right? What you put in the glass, you're gonna drink from. So it's just, the more I have that idea, nothing is outside of me. I am the container for everything I experience because I put it there. So anything that I experience, I must have put there, consciously or unconsciously, bringing illusion to truth. I'm experiencing this. How is that happening? Well, because I'm telling a story about it. So the more I can own that, right? Thought by thought, piece by piece, this whole thing is going to start crumbling. And I'm experiencing that, and I'm excited enough to share it with you because this is awesome. And I'm just happy, and I want that for you, right? Whoever's listening, I want that for you. If I want it for me, why would I not want it for you, right? Because we're one. And if I don't have peace, then I'm going to project my unloving, unpeaceful thoughts onto you. And you're going to, your mind will get a hold of that. And there's a great risk that you'll own it for yourself. And that's how we got into the mess that we're in. That's what created this world, as chaotic as it is. So just keep practicing, man. Keep going. We'll all get there, but we have to get there kind of together, because if you put me down or I put you down, and I'm going to say this, and sure as heck, I'm going to have a thought about a family member, or somebody's going to cross my path, and I'm going to quickly, before I even think about it, say, what an idiot, or damn, he's ugly, or she's ugly, or whatever. Hopefully, and I think I've been getting better at it, I'll catch myself immediately and go, that's not the story I want, and it's not the story they deserve. Because I don't know what they've been through. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything but what I tell myself about them. And that's the forgiveness practice. That's, forgiving my story about you, or them, or anything I see as outside of myself, because the story will always live in me, and that's what I have to learn. And that's what I'm sharing, is that my experience, I'm beginning to actually take ownership of the story that I tell myself about an outside world, right? A world that I see is outside of myself, by saying, no, it's not out there. It's in here, because how I see it out there is only because the story of I see it in here. Events are going to happen, right? There's going to be suffering. People are going to kill each other, right? But the story that I tell myself about that, right, I'm going to experience. So if I want to change the world, I have to change my experience, because my experience will change yours. Because I'm not engaging in it anymore. I'm not joining you in that activity. That's why I would love to be around. I would just love to go and be with, somebody like David Hoffmeister, or, Gandhiji, or Adyashanti, or John Sherman. I would so love to do that. But unfortunately, because of the way the world works, right, that's a little out of my pocketbook, because most of those retreats are, upwards of $500, which I just can't afford. But see, there's a story, right? So I'm telling myself that story, which is why it's not coming to my experience. There's probably another way, and I'm glad I caught myself in that story right there, right? So that's something I have to work with, right? And just get back to the presence and ask, how can I make it possible? How can I make that my experience? What story can I tell instead of this one to make it my experience? Ooh, that's good. That's juicy. So, now we're talking the real law of attraction, right? Noticing the difference in those two stories, how they feel, right? Right? That's what they're talking about, the law of attraction, and Abraham Hicks, and all those, Bob Proctor, and all those people. That's what they're talking about. It's like, oh, yeah, I thought it was all about the money. No. It's about the feeling that you experience, and feeling that now, right? And the more I can feel the now of it, right? The difference in the story, just like I had done with that little 3-step process. I am this. Long story. Shorten it. I am that. Shorten it. I am. Ooh, that feels good. I want to be around more people that know that I am is here. Okay, how? Instead of I can't do it, I don't have the money. Well, that's disempowering. That's a disempowering thought. Okay, back it up. Start erasing it, right? And draw out a new one. And just take action on it, moment by moment by moment. That's the deal, man. And you might not be able to do it right now, but when you have the opportunity, take it. And honestly, that's why I'm putting this out there. And every moment that I do have, I try to post something on Facebook about the services that I offer, things that I can do to help me change my life. right, into something that I enjoy more than what I'm enjoying now. And I can expand and live from a place of joy by experiencing joy now with what I have and being grateful for what's here now, but saying, no, I'd like a different story. Right? Not being in conflict with the story that's being told here, now. So otherwise we're gonna be back in conflict, and we'll chase our tail forever. And I'm doing that, man. And I'll probably continue to do it. But the more I can realize that this is how it works, the better I'll get at sharing it with you, because I understand it. And then if you can understand it, or if you already understand it, man, help me out. I'm open for that. Right? So I hope this has been helpful. I've had a blast sharing this with you. It's a miracle. It really is a miracle how quickly we experience our own story. And when we can take a step back and see how that actually works and just disassemble it piece by piece, then there's only peace left. One piece. So get it down to one piece. And I wish you peace. Love you, man. Till next time. Peace.